friends with Dorothy, fighting for your civil rights. Out on the cruel streets tonight. For Sylvia and Marcia, life was harder than you'll ever know. Still they placed a star where others just threw a stone. Ignited, 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 yeah.
I am delighted to welcome back as our final guest of 2021, the immortal Eddie McGuinness from not only from Dublin Pride, but from the Outing, from Winter Pride, and too many other events to name. Eddie, we're delighted to have you back. So welcome back to LGBTQ+life.
Hello, how are you, my darling? And a big and absolutely holiday season of romance and also of love to everyone, and hoping that everyone is keeping safe out there.
Yep. Eddie, before we talk about the community and look back on what's some of the highlights and perhaps even some of the lowlights of the year, I want to just, for the benefit of those of us who know you and all your friends out there, you've had a very, how can I put it? You've had a very challenging year. That's the way I will put it. Can I put something to you that has this given you not only a greater appreciation of human morality, and particularly Eddie McGuinness's morality?
How would I put it? It has been one hell of a roller coaster, and most of the language I would love to say I couldn't even repeat, no matter before nine at night. I have to say it's been, in one hand, a terrible year, but at the same time, the amount of love and expression from people I haven't even heard from in decades, reaching out to me, everything. For those who don't know, unfortunately, this time last year, I was diagnosed with throat cancer. And it was not just once, but it was 3 places: in my tonsil, my tongue, and my lymph node in my neck. And believe it, again, we have to realize it was HPV cancer. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs, very little drink as such, an odd binge every so often over the years. I never really drank until my kind of mid-20s onwards. So in a way, kind of a good lifestyle, and probably that goes back to being a former dancer and choreographer. I kept healthily, do you know what I mean? And thought, as they say, we always hear every year, and especially in the UK, 1 in 2 will get cancer, and I was that 1 in 2. And that was the hard-hitting fact. And also at the same time, I had to go through it on my own because of COVID. Going into the doctor to ask him, I had a big, massive lump on my neck this time last year. In 2020, we, within Dublin Pride and Dublin City Council, we reached out to a lot of our community members, and we ended up doing shopping for them, going to the chemist, collecting their laundry and so forth. So we did a lot of outreach work and being positive. And also I was doing the balcony bingo as well here in the Ivy Trust. But ended up is my throat became very sore in 2020, but I thought it was tonsillitis. Being a man, I'm fine, I'll get through it. And then ended up is going forward, it got worse and worse. And then in 2020, I had one of the greatest honors, and that was alongside Paul Ryder to host the first televised version of Dublin Pride, because we had to go virtual. And we hosted that from the Mansion House. And even at that stage, my throat was really sore and it was very tiring. I took time out in July, August time, came back fighting gun ho, but into October, November time, it became very serious, and I went to the doctor. And that's what I first and foremost said to anyone: if you have something wrong, go to the doctor. And that's what I did. And from that, again, we ended up is within few minutes, he just said, I have to go and see a specialist. I thought it was my tonsils, didn't think about it. And the next minute, within a couple of weeks, I was sitting in front of a consultant, and he was asking me, he says, can it would kind of be direct with you? And I said, yeah, 110%. And he was very direct with me. And he said, before any tests come back, I'm guaranteed that it is throat cancer you have. I had to do that on my own. I didn't have anyone with me because of COVID, because of regulations, everything. I had to then go and tell my family, my husband, my friends, that was happening. And my next journey within that, most people might know, was I was ready to go in for major operations. Some of my tongue was going to be taken off, tonsils removed, parts of me, so all that. But again, in one side, because of COVID and the increase in COVID levels, they couldn't do it because they were very scared, because my system was completely immune compromised. And so by January, I started treatment with chemotherapy and radiation at a high volume. And it was not nice, and it was lonely. And as we've always been, Mike, me and you are very poignant and reaching out to people around mental health. That was very much a scary mental health for myself, because in a way, even though the community reached out to me and my friends and family, but because of COVID, I couldn't even hug anyone. Even when I had to tell my father and my sister and brothers, they couldn't even physically hug me. I had to still stay that 2-3 meters away from people while telling them, while tears were going down our eyes. And that was scary.
Yeah. Can I put something to you, Eddie? You and I, we are what I would call survivors. We come from that survivor generation. I suspect after that very personal experience, you have come out of it with a massive empathy for those, and we know many between us, who are continuing to live with HIV. What's your thoughts on that, Eddie?
Very much so. Like, you know yourself, is between HIV, AIDS, other cancer survivors, even within our own community, especially our older community out there, who in a way feel isolated. And as we get older, because we move away from the scene and the outs and about, we become a lot more isolated within ourselves. And I say again, especially coming into the Christmas time, holiday time, and into the new year of next year, please reach out. The services are there from LGBT Ireland, also the switchboard is out there, lesbian line is out there. They're all out there to help. And that's not just in Dublin, it's all over Ireland, from the community groups in Cork to Limerick, Gosh and Limerick, also the likes of outcomers in Dundalk and Drogheda and so forth. There's a lot of community outreach places to reach out to, but also in a way, society has moved on. And if you still feel as you're getting older that people don't understand you being an LGBT plus member, they actually do. And some of your neighbors are the best people to reach out to.
Yeah. Something that came to me, Eddie, is that I, not like yourself, but I was diagnosed with hepatitis C about 25 years ago, when the success rate wasn't nearly as high. Now, two other friends of mine who live a similar lifestyle, both were diagnosed similarly. I changed my lifestyle. I'm still alive. Both of them continued on, and they both went on to develop liver cancer. So the point you're making, don't ignore symptoms. Nature is a very good friend telling you. Would you accept that?
Oh, very much so. And I accept it. as I always said to people, don't ask Dr. Google, ask your own doctor.
Yeah.
And that is crucially what I would say. Dr. Google has not got all the answers. It would scare the absolutely bejesus out of you sooner than give you the correct answer. But also, don't be listening to your friends. Oh, that could be, or this could be. Go and ask your doctor, and that is crucial, I will say. I reach out to especially when it comes to the likes of, for me, what do you call it, HPV. It was a HPV vaccine that I got 10 years ago through the Gay Men's Health Project, which in the reckon helped me, because even though I had the virus, it will actually kind of safeguard you in some sense. But it's like anything else. We get the COVID vaccine at the moment. It's not a cure, but it is like the flu vaccine, like every other vaccine. It helps safeguard you that, in a way, fingers crossed, it doesn't hit you as a truck, as I put it. Yeah. Yes. And that is crucially what we have to think about.
Well, our generation were perhaps the first one to take on board that nobody might like condoms, but the condoms are far preferable to coffins.
Very much so, and very much so. And also in around the area, it's people say, oh, I'm on PrEP, I'm safe, but there is STDs or STIs, absolutely, whatever which way you want to phrase it. There is so many other sexually transmitted diseases out there that you could easily get, when there is prevention is better than cure. And that is most importantly.
Yeah. Eddie, I want to move on to talk about Pride. Now, you're very much, with your colourful suit and your outgoing demeanour, everybody sees Eddie McGuinness is Dublin Pride. But I strongly suspect, if you were to be asked, which I'm going to, you would say, I can only do what I do because I've got a terrific crew behind me. And I know that as well as you do. Give some of them a shout out anyway for the great help that they give you.
Oh, first and foremost, from our members to our volunteers, and crucially the volunteers who've developed it. Coming into 2022 and even 2023, in 2023, we have to realize that Dublin Pride will be 40 years old. Also, it will be 30 years since decriminalisation here in Ireland, which was my first ever Pride. I will always say I'm only one cog in the wheel of a massive and amazing organisation here with Dublin Pride. And in 2017, it was a great honour to be asked to come in and help redevelop what Pride is. And we've seen, even this year alone, over 25,000 euros being given back in community funds. The first time ever. Over the last couple of years, we've been giving small amounts out to community groups. People will always have that terminology of Pride has become too corporate, but without our corporate members, we can't put on a spectacular festival that we do have. And there's different elements of that festival, to the likes of Jed Dowling, who was part of the board originally, who came on and is now our CEO. His drive, his imagination is absolutely amazing. And also the likes of Jamie and also Christelle as well, our other staff members, but also the many volunteers out there who names come and go, to all the different chairs and to our board members as well. But most importantly, the community. The community that's what Pride is all about, community. No matter, we must not forget that. And we must not forget is the heart of Pride is a protest to tell people we are absolutely here and we are going nowhere and we have a voice, and that is what we are doing. And even on the basis going forward is what Pride can do, and the voice and the visualization of our community. From the far left, even to the point to the far right, we are a rainbow of nations and of different individuals, and we must use and shine those rainbows. And our rainbow, especially in the last year or so, has progressed on to our new progressive flag, which I actually love and embrace so much. But at the heart of it, it is the rainbow, and the rainbow covers everyone, no matter what color, creed, gender, background, race, you name it, who you are. And once we're all minorities, and that's what we are in a way in society, we have a voice, and let's use our voice to get out there.
Yeah. The last 2 years have clearly been challenging for not only for Dublin Pride, but for prides around the country. But what I've been very impressed with, particularly this year, is that what we've taken on board an appreciation of what Pride not only is, but what it can be. That it's not a monolith. It's an evolutionary process, and for the past 12 months, it's by and large mainly been virtual. You must be satisfied with that, Eddie, that people can see more than just, oh, this is a day for marching down O'Connell Street and having a great day in Fitzwilliam Square, which we all love and miss. But what it's been this year, particularly the virtual side of it, has been nothing short of remarkable.
In a way, this year, as we moved from 2020 into 2021, it's more on the basis is, as I would put it, we become more of a hybrid element of who and what we are. And especially this year, we had our Pride Hub just off Grafton Street with literally hundreds of thousands of people coming through our door. And that's no exaggeration. Sure. Thousands and thousands of people came through the doors, including our politicians and local representatives, but also our community at large. One of the lovely moments, I have to say, with our Pride Hub was when you have parents coming in with their younger generation, buying what we call our merchandise, okay? And that stuff is bought by Pride, but then is given back to the community, okay? And that is, in a way, keeping that circle going right around. But most importantly is, nobody, no parent in a way going, no, you can't have that. No, you can't have that. It was what would you like? And it was a learning curve for us at the same time. And that leads into even now we have our Pride Hub in CHQ or Epic building, as I call it, in the IFSC. And we have teamed up with Sonia Mulligan, who is an amazing friend of Pride, but also creativity, a filmmaker, documentary maker. But Sonia and team are down there with the House of Dapper looking after our Pride Hub at the moment. And that alone, you can get anything you want for Christmas. And literally, and I'm going to turn around one second. You love this, Mick. Wait, now, this is the campus Christmas present I got my friends, and Sonia's friend made it.
Oh, isn't it just?
Absolutely. Anyone who knows me well, rainbow heaven, and I shine. Okay. That inner diva comes out, the inner dancer comes out, but my little gnome gets any round. So all my friends, literally, very much after the year I've had, have got my rainbow heart, and each one of them have got my heart, and that's very much. And Sonia and team there have been making these are all made by hand, and that's one thing about the Sonia and team. Great, but also I know, and I'll give a small plug out to is they're moving after the Pride Hub this weekend coming, but also they're moving to Street 66.
Okay, up there in Parliament Street.
Parliament Street, and there's going to be a Christmas market on there as well, and you can still get, but also you can get Dublin Pride t-shirts, masks, everything else that we've been building up, and especially part of our Wild with Pride, which you've covered already, Mick, which call it our Winter Pride Festival in a way, and continuation of that.
And not only that, Eddie, I can tell you, I've been wearing my Dublin Pride face mask with Pride, and I've had it since the summer. They last. They're good value as well, and dare I say it's something we'll all appreciate. They're stylish.
They are stylish and very comfortable. Okay, and especially for us who have glasses to wear and the steaming up elements. So with that, they're very, very good. But also on the basis is, we're not only we're wearing our rainbow out front, but also at the same time we are looking after all those around us who, at the end of the day, everything you can do, you're protecting other people from you in a way, because we all don't know if we have the virus or not, but again, we have to be protective, and that's what I said to everyone.
Yeah, something that you and I would be on the same page about. Over the last 12 months, I've been very conscious that sometimes the community can be seen to be a bit Dublin centric. So I've been reaching out to other places around the country. So I've covered Pride in Wexford, in Waterford, in Youghal, in Drogheda, Dundalk, even up to Oma. And I think that's great now. Now, these are smaller events, but isn't it so important not only that these are happening, but that we're giving them some visibility as well?
We're very, very much so. It's all about visualization, and we're all about the north, south, east, and west. We are an island, and an island, in a way, as I would always say, we follow that rainbow to Ireland. We're not just leprechauns, but we're a big bunch of fairies as well, running around. So that's my tongue in cheek, and hopefully I won't get in trouble for calling us all a big bunch of fairies. It's Irish humor, and we love it. But also, you look at what we've been doing over in the West, with the Outing Festival, going into our 9th year next year. Fingers crossed, where hopefully will take place Valentine's weekend next year. If it doesn't, we're definitely coming back in 2023. So watch the space, but we are coming back. We're not going to give, because in a way is that development, a queer arts, music, and matchmaking festival, bringing online, offline. And that is the toxicity of what is online, even though me and you, we utilize to get the message out. And we've done that with prides, and especially prides around Ireland, who have all televised, from Cork to Carlow to Limerick themselves to Belfast to others who have all been online, including Dublin Pride. We've gone out to a bigger audience, and very much to our diaspora. Mick, me and you would understand, very much to our diaspora out there around the world, who could never be themselves here in Ireland, but still do reach out and feel very much being proud to be Irish and want to reach in. And we're hoping in 2022 and going on into 2023 that we're calling all our diaspora to come home, and especially in 2023, 40 years on and 30 years on from decriminalization, to come home and celebrate who and what we are as a nation going forward.
Yeah. Well, you and I, Eddie, we would have been there in May 2015 when they did come home. And
yes.
You still got a bit of a tear thinking about it, don't you? It was just what a day, what a day. Yeah.
What a day to the Irish people.
Yeah.
That, yes, meant so much to so many people. Like, I was civil partnered, and come January of this year I'm 19 years with my other half, John, who, after the journey I've been through, not only realization of a relationship, of being my husband, and to say those words, and even while being sick, and this was something that most people wouldn't have realized. Pre-2015, that partner had no rights. No matter who you were, even if you went abroad to get married, you had no rights at all. If anything would have happened to me, unfortunately, I would have had my family, and some of my family, we all have them, we don't get on. They would have had the rights to tell how I would like to have gone and how I would like to have been buried. But for the fact is that the Irish people said yes. And my husband, my soulmate, and in a way, not the love of my life, what you call it, literally in a way, can say, and no, sorry if I'm emotional on it. He's the one who can say what is going to happen to me next. Sure. And he was there with it in that journey. The only problem was, because of everything, he couldn't be there to hold my hand. But I got plenty of hugs afterwards when I could. And those hugs are amazing. And we will all get there, Mick. You know yourself. We will get there to be in person together again and really build that hugging. We'll do a hug-a-thon. Mick, come on, that's a challenge for me and you. It won't be not only a free hug, it will be a hug-a-thon.
Yeah, yeah. Can I just put something to you, Eddie? I mean, I just want to move on slightly to what I would call media events of the year. And to me, the media event of the last 12 months was the showing of Russell T Davies' It's a Sin, because it brought the generations together. And the point you were making there, your partner, 20 years ago, your partner wouldn't have even been able to be allowed to see you. I mean, there's now a generation that realizes this was what our generation went through. And so
Very much so. Very much so. And if you, even for those who got to see Philip McMahon's play in the Gate Theatre as well, would call it, again, another poignant aspects of what call it, telling the history. And we mustn't forget that history, even though some of our younger generation what call it, want to, not in a way, how would I put it, they want to go, oh, this is what we have now. We need to fight what we have now. But we mustn't forget what we had before. Yeah. And that is crucial. We mustn't forget. For all those who in a way, we have stood on somebody else's shoulder, unfortunately, as you know, and for those who can get down to CHQ to see the AIDS quilt, and that is the HIV and AIDS quilt, which is on exhibition in CHQ. Each one of those panel is the size of a grave. Yeah. Each one of those panel is a remembering of someone else who has gone before us. And most of those panels are not gay men, are actually women and children as well. And that is poignant. HIV is not a gay disease. HIV is a disease that affects everyone, no matter what your gender, background, economic surroundings, everything. HIV affects us all. And that is something crucial we must not forget.
Yeah. Just to a couple of other things before we conclude, Eddie. They're not only part of our culture and our history and our heritage, but they're also pretty good Christmas presents for those who might. Two great books that came out this year. My Name is Philippa, which our great friend Philippa Ryder, and very recently Patrick McDonagh's Gay and Lesbian Activism 1973 to 1993. I don't know if you've read either or both, but to me, they're essential reading for those of us who care about the community.
Oh, very much so. I had the pleasure with Philippa only a couple of weeks back, what you call it, to get a personal signed copy from Philippa, and her signature was to the most fabulous gay in the village. I'm saying nothing on that one. I think that's a little hint on the little gay in the village when we outed Lister Varna with the outing festival. Yeah. But that is her, she loves it. But also, I took it away when I had a week's break for the first time this year. It was time out with my husband, and I sat reading it. It's a page turner. And Philippa's journey, absolutely amazing. But also Patrick's book. I haven't read it because Patrick is holding off. There is going to be another updated version with photographs and that. Yeah. And his words were, Eddie waits and he will sign a copy for me and I get reading on that. But again, it's those memories. And that's what about. And also, Mick, just to get in there is, in January and going into February, and we'll talk further about it, is Fingal County Council are going to have the first ever Winter Pride. And we are going to be taking Christopher Robson's Living with Pride exhibition on tour.
Excellent.
And not only that, watch this space. It's going to go all over the country. And Dublin Pride is working on that. We're working on that to bring it all over Ireland, that tour of all those photographic exhibitions.
Yeah, so I was just coincidentally, I was just talking to Fingal Council about 2 days ago about the very thing. Just finally, Eddie, and it just shows you how not how mainstream, but how the acceptance within the wider community, and particularly amongst the political community, has evolved. Rainbow crossings, now weren't they a wonderful welcome this year?
Again, that has been something I personally have been working on for decades, one, but also especially since I came into my role with Dublin Pride, in the background is working with that. And with the amazing help of Brian Henney and the traffic division in DCC, and I'm giving a shout out to Chris Andrews, and also Ivana Bacik, and also Claire Byrne especially. Claire brought a cross-party, I forget the name that they call it, to the council to actually get them done and put in place. We don't have one. We're the only city in the world that actually has more than one rainbow crossing. But to let people know, we are working on it. Some people would say they're very small and very stylized, but we are working on them. And because of legislation and other requirements, especially for our blind community, people must remember, for our blind community, they've been taught for decades, this is where you need to cross at a crossing, okay? If we put color in on top of the actual crossing, in a way, it disorientates, especially those with visual impairments rather than full blindness, but those with visual impairments. So what we're going to be doing is working with the council over the next 6 months to get permanent ones throughout the city, and in a way, a lot longer and more of the space. But very much so, one of the best is at the likes of Panty Bar itself. It's on Parliament Street. And most importantly, it is on our Rainbow Mile, from which covers the whole way to Dame Street and Georgia Street, the home. And one shout out I will have to give out is to all the bars and bar staffs, to Outhouse and all the other organizations through COVID over the last 2 years have, in a way, we must remember, they've been keeping things going when, in a way, they didn't have the money to do so. So for anyone out there with any sort of spare cash, Dublin Pride's community fund is still opened, but most importantly, reach out to the likes of Outhouse, belong to LGBT Ireland, and please donate back into our community. That's what it's all about. You give one price of a pint, and that could help, in a way, save somebody's life through having someone else on the other end of the phone to say, hello, I am, and I'm here to listen. And that is most important.
Eddie, what a message to conclude on. It's great you're looking so good. I want to wish you and your family all the best for the seasons. And I also wish you a happy, prosperous and healthy 2022. So Eddie McGuinness, thank you for your time today.
Fingers crossed. We love you all. And I love you so much, Mick. You're an amazing individual for keeping that message alive out there. And thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Friends with Dorothy come out off the sidewalk and onto the street, to the sound of those legendary feet. When there's no place like home, anti-am, anti-establishment, with the chaff and the short straw, they'll have a stuff for sure. Anti-am, I'm anti-establishment. They took my name and the clothes I own. They broke our hearts, but not our souls. When there's no place like home, when there's no place like home, when there's no place like home.